Shalom, Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops at Great Millstone. And peace and salutations and peace and mercy to the prophets, the hopeful elect, the 144,000. And to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. Back with another lesson. I'll title this one, Godliness with Contentment is Great Wealth. Godliness with contentment is great wealth. Call halal, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Call halal, Yamla, Allahayanawa, Amanawa, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. And this will be straight to the point, but like, the title reads, Godliness with contentment is great wealth. And the pride, the pride of life, really ultimately in this place, the U.S., people have lost their morals. Pride and the cares of life has really, took a hold of these people in this place, the U.S. and throughout the world, man. Ultimately, here in the U.S., of just simple things of life, and there's an order, there's a balance to things, but pride has really took a hold of people, and there's a lot of carelessness in this world. Ultimately, in this place, the U.S., and we know ultimately people don't care about the Lord's word. They just don't care about. They don't care to hear or do thus saith the Lord. But the scripture tells you, for the whole duty of man is to fear the Lord and to keep His commandments, to live righteous. But this whole American lifestyle it goes against the Lord. It goes against what He says. And just the simple things in life. This is what people have lost. The simple things in life. And a lot of people, they're just not, they're not happy, man. They're not happy. There's no inner peace. None. You know why? Because they don't have the scriptures. They don't have the wisdom of the Lord, man. You see? Let me go here. Call halal, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. The simple things. Let me go here. Proverbs. Having just the simple things in life. But everybody gotta have, 2 or 3 different cars. A certain type of home, all this money, they gotta live gigantic and make it seem like they're just doing, so well, but inside, their spirit ain't right. You got all this stuff. But your spirit, you're not right. See, and that's what's going on in the end. See, Proverbs Proverbs, let me go here. Proverbs 15, back to the basics. Proverbs 15 and 16, and it reads, it says better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasures and trouble therewith. See? Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasures and trouble therewith. And you know, boy, man, you know, having the wisdom, you know, the knowledge, the understanding of the Lord, and you know, ultimately fearing him, because knowing what the Lord can do to you. See, this is what a lot of people don't understand, that the Lord, you know, he's just absolutely nothing to play with, man. And that he can destroy you in the spiritual or the physical. And a lot of people are going to find this out. And that comes with fearing on what he can do to you. See? The Lord has an innumerable amount of ways on how he can just basically kill you, man, and torment you. Because the Lord can torment you in your mind, and you know, ultimately your spirit, and how you just completely losing your mind, going off to a point where, yeah, he can to a point where, yeah, you want to kill yourself, but he can hold you off and just put you through it and then put you to death. The Lord has an innumerable amount of ways, man, of destroying you. But, you know, like the scripture says, you know, better is little with the fear of the Lord. You know, having a part-time job, or even if you're not working, and you getting checks from the government, or you know, some type of financial aid, or you know, however it is, you just going from check to check. You know, you got a little used car. It may be kind of beat up, or you know, get you from point A to point B. You got a little apartment or a home, and it may not be as a mansion, or you know, but you understanding, having the fear of the Lord, and you know, you know, and you have, you know, thanking the Lord for what you got, and having that wisdom and that knowledge and the fear of the Lord, than to have, you know, great riches. Because a lot of people, yeah, they got money and stuff, but they're not happy. They're not happy. They just not happy. Got all these different little possessions and things like that, and they not happy, man. Because they don't fear the Lord. They don't have the wisdom. It says 17, Salakia. So you could be working a part-time job at a fast food restaurant or gas station. You got yourself a little studio, even renting a room for you and your children. And you know, you just, you know, but you understand about the Lord. You're in a good place, man, and you're seeking him. You're than somebody to have these different possessions and money and stuff like that, and don't fear the Lord. They spirit ain't right. They spirit ain't right, and it shows too. People be bugging out. You could tell. It says 17. It says better is a dinner of herbs, where love is than a stalled ox, and hatred therewith. See, better is a dinner of just vegetables. It might be beans and corn, a little bowl of beans and corn. You go to work, your little part-time job, and you come home, you ain't got no fancy dinner. You may have a bowl of corn and and some beans, and you and your children or family, that's all you got. You sit down at the table, eat some food, eat your little vegetables, and be happy. See? Then to have a big fancy dinner and you can't get along with family members, or you still not happy with yourself, man. Your spirit ain't right. See? Because this is what it boils down to. A lot of people, they're not, they've lost the simplicity of life, man. Let me go here. Let me hop over. Let me stay in Proverbs. Proverbs 16 and 16, and it reads, it says, how much better is it to get wisdom? See? How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver? See? How much better is it to get this wisdom and knowledge, man? Because it tell you wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and to have good judgment, good discernment, to be able to have the discernment between things going through life, than to have all this money and possessions and materials and things. See, when you come into when you seek the Lord, there's an inner peace. When you're sincerely, truly seeking Him, there's an inner peace. You may have all these things going on, but at the end of the day, reading the scriptures, seeking Him, following Him, there's a certain inner peace. There's a certain inner peace. It gets tough, during the day sometimes, but through it all, you just know there's light at the end of the tunnel, because on the promise, man, that righteousness is going to be established. See, that is coming. And just being a good person, man, character. Because you got a lot of demons, man. People are demons. Demons. They just ain't right, man. It says 17, the highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. See? He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. Let me go here. I'll close out with these last couple right here, because this is ultimately the point. What is that? Second Timothy, is it Second Timothy? First Timothy 6 and 5. 1 Timothy 6 and 5, and it reads, it says, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw themselves. 6, this is the point, 6. It says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Being content, man. Yeah, if we try to, we walk in that, fighting the good fight of faith. Walking that narrow path, man. And it's, just being content. If the Lord throws us a bone, he may throw us a bone here and there, or if we, kind of get some, extra help somehow, or we'll take it. But, we're not looking to, looking for this extravagant lifestyle on this side. We just, doing what we got to do, being content, thanking the Lord, and waiting on Him, man, and not weary in doing good. But it says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. And like the title says, man, godliness with contentment is great wealth. Shalom.